Danny, just the season keeps grinding on. Any update on injuries at the moment? Do you want to get
Yeah, we've got quite a few guys out at the moment. I think that's obviously made things difficult for sure. When we look at competition and training on a daily basis, when we look at trying to get guys to rhythm, so there's a few setbacks when you look at Glido, when you look at Ombi. Phil's dealing with something at the moment. It's really higher up the field that we're trying to get guys back. Jake as well, deeper. So we're working through it. We still, quite a few weeks away from having everybody that we, that we expect to be able to push each other. But that is where we are.
Last week it was a frustrating result for you guys. How do you feel like the week has gone since?
I think it's been a good week of training for sure. A lot of reflection, which is good. Trying to keep things in perspective as well, for the group. Ultimately, we're in a good spot. We haven't lost a game, but we know there are areas over the last few weeks that haven't been good enough, particularly with technical breakdowns and in front of our goal. We've worked on that. The execution has been good this week, so now it's making sure that it carries over into the game on Saturday.
What are the challenges of Monterey Bay within the team?
Good team. They had a turnover. New manager has done a good job, for sure. Well organized, good intensity, and they have a lot of quality with the ball. Very comfortable in tight spaces. So we know it's going to be a challenge, especially with the long travel. But as we always talk about, there's no excuses, and it's another opportunity for us to start really a grind of a let's call it 8 weeks of games and travel, but the guys are excited about it.
I think last week you talked about being disappointed with some of the substitutes and how things went in that second half. Does having the injuries you're talking about make those patterns even that much more complicated game to game?
Well, if you look at the players that came on in that game, they're players that have started quite a few games for us this year, right? So no, my expectation is just high for those guys. And you watch the game, and anybody that watched it, can see that the group that initially started the game, we didn't concede much at all. We were performing at the level that we expect with the intensity that we expect. And when you make subs, your hope is that they come in and they keep that intensity, but even more, they raise it. And we didn't feel that happened. Especially from a front foot standpoint. So it's nothing that they, don't agree with. The players know. It's clear as day on film. Where the injuries come into play is higher up the field. We don't have players pushing one another at the moment in training on a daily basis. And I think that makes it psychologically a little bit more difficult. You're not being pushed at the level that you're used to with regard to competition. So, that's one thing I feel over the years here at this club we've done a really good job of, is bringing in competition in every position. And right now we're just higher up the field. So, we're working on looking at a few different moves to try to put ourselves in the best spot possible, and then obviously trying to get the guys healthy to make sure we can get a full squad to choose from.
I think you probably knew what you were getting when you guys brought in Taylor Davila.
Yeah.
Has he met or even exceeded expectations since he's been?
Yeah, it's hard to say exceeded because we know what he's capable of, and we knew when we went to go get him what he was capable of. But when we look at the person that he is, when we look at what he's brought from a cultural standpoint as well, I think that certainly exceeds expectations. And what I mean by that is you never know when you're interviewing people. You never know until they get into the environment, and especially an environment like ours. It's a difficult environment. They're going to be pushed every single day, not only by the staff, but by the players. When you look at how he has performed over the last year and a half, he is a player that we're really, really proud of, and he's a player that we know still has more to give, and certainly believe that he will.
We talked a little bit last week about the card games on the road. He seems to have the same kind of confidence in those as he does on the pitch.
Davi is a very confident human being. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're playing cards, it definitely, let's put it this way: he more often than not comes out with a win at the end of the night. So.
Would you care to comment on camera about your lack of sleep?
Oh man, you know what? In this job, there's not a lot of sleep anyway, so you're always thinking about something. So, but like I said, my daughter's healthy. She's beautiful. She's happy, smiling every day. So, if we sacrifice a little sleep for that, I'll take it.
You catch up on the road a little bit, I guess?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My poor wife, she's a saint. She is a saint. But I'm going to sleep good tonight, for sure.